Welcome back, my friends. Today I am working on day 3 of Drawlloween Prompt. I'll try the zombie juice. Typically I started the same way. I hope you're not getting bored of these. I think I'm going to change up my method the next couple ones I do, just because I think I'm getting a little bit of the burnout. I'm trying very hard to do a lot of things all the time. I work doing art. I'm painting with acrylics all day when I'm doing my job. And then at night, I'm trying to do my Drawlloween sketches for like the next day. And then I'm also trying to shoot videos. So I think I burned myself out a little bit, which is probably why I'm not 100% happy with this piece. I feel like I lost a lot of what made the other two really special, and that's the contrast. The contrast was really apparent in those two. Here, it kind of teeters on everything falling into the same space. And that doesn't really work for me. I like contrast, but I really struggled to get the contrast I was looking for. And I think part of that is, again, just a little bit of a burnout. And there is a little bit of pressure, too, when you're recording these because I'm thinking on the fly. I did not do a color study like I should have, which maybe that would actually make my life a little bit easier, like I keep saying I'm going to do. Getting a color study done would really kind of solidify my piece before I go into it. And then that way it'll help me with the end result. And I won't feel as kind of, okay, this is all right. Maybe I learned something this time, you know? But we'll see. Whether I decide to change up the medium for the next couple ones or not, I think I'm going to do a color study, or at least flesh out my idea more on paper with swatches. So the most exciting part at the moment is that shadow underneath the countertop that's coming out, and the contrast between the side of the counter that we're seeing and the top, which is actually really nice. Maybe I just should have stopped here. With his skin tone, I started putting it down and I'm like, okay, you know, this is the dark side. And then what do? I go in and I start blending the light color with the dark. So again, I lost the contrast, and then I'll have to go back in and put it back later. But you know, that's actually a really important thing for me to touch on here. You really need to give yourself breaks, especially as an artist. I mean, just in general, as a person, yes. But as an artist, and my friend told me this last night, you will definitely regain some of your creativity by letting your mind rest. I do feel like this one took me a lot less time. I think I only worked on it for like 40 minutes compared to the other ones where I think some of them were, I think the first one was like 2-3 hours, but I was trying to get the feel for gouache again. Where this one, I just kind of like quickly pumped it out. And the downside of that is I didn't spend enough time exploring the medium again. And because, you know, all week I paint with acrylic, I definitely felt like I was trying to use it like acrylic and forgetting the loveliness that is gouache. So I think that also comes a little bit with that burnout I was talking about. I think I probably needed a break, and instead I pushed and pushed and pushed, and that's probably why I'm not 100% happy with this. It might have been a very different story if I'd actually given myself a break and then went back to it. Now I'm starting to add the contrast back into his skin tone and brighten him up a bit, because I imagine that maybe the lights from the menu were kind of illuminating his skin a little bit. But what happens is when you put gouache down, it tends to dry a little darker. And as it was drying, it ended up getting a little darker. I probably kept putting contrast back into his skin several times throughout the course of this painting, because, you know, it dries darker than it looks when you put it down. Same goes with the zombie skin. So as I put in this highlight here, I kind of kept touching on it and rehydrating it and adding white, adding yellows, because I really wanted to pop. You know, I really wanted to get that idea that his flesh is kind of decaying in some areas. So you can see I have like the red back there. Like that's kind of his muscle structure showing. And then you'll see later, I add more of a pop contrast to his skin because there are some areas I just really wanted to pop out. super brave. I'm starting to take the tape off because I think the background is done. But you're going to see in a few minutes, the background was not done. Now, when I did peel the tape off, I did get a little bit of leakage at the top there. You can see the border is not as crisp, but that's fine. It doesn't really bother me too much. Oh, and here I go, freehanding that background color. And it looks great. I love how bright it is. I'm like, okay, good. Maybe this will pop my characters a little bit more. Again, we go back to when you put gouache down, it's going to dry darker than when you put it down. So you'll see, it'll change. I kind of like the paint strokiness that I can see, but eventually it just dries and you don't see it as much. Looking back, I wish I had made the zombie's eyes a little more googly. But I did give him an exposed brain, and I don't know, you'll see it in a bit when I actually do the outlining, but there is a brain behind our customer as well. Somebody on Instagram very cleverly put that he was serving banana brain shakes, and I thought, ooh, that's actually really funny. But I didn't make any more. I should have done more brains so it was a little more apparent, but that also comes with maybe I should have reworked the drawing a little bit before I started to paint it, but that's okay. I like the outcome of the drawing itself, and I don't think that the finished product is necessarily bad. But again, there's a lot of things I should have done a little differently. I also looked up the colors of the Jamba Juice shirts and apron, and it actually is orange and brown, or at least it was at one point, the picture I saw. I do check a lot of reference because I feel like if you're trying to emulate something, you want to make sure that it actually looks like what it's supposed to be emulating, which is why I went with that very quick pattern in the background of tile, because they did have like a greenish tile. We're coming to the end of the video here, and I really appreciate you watching. I will definitely have another one up soon. I'm hoping to have another one up before the end of the week, but if not, then next Monday it is. For now, I'll see you back at the drawing board.